athletes and fans of bodybuilding. I'm Lenda Murray, 8 times Ms. Olympia, and you are watching Olympia TV. Thank you for joining us for this exciting conversation. Our special guest this evening, she won the 2023 Atlanta Pro Super Show, and that qualified her for the Ms. Olympia Fitness, where she placed and is currently 10th in the world. She is on her way now. She's competed in 3 competitions this year, and she's on her way. She'll tell us where she's on her way to very soon. So she's still holding strong for that Olympia qualification this year to join us all in Las Vegas to celebrate the 60th Olympia. But not only is she an accomplished competitor, but she is in 2021, she up until 2021, an elementary assistant principal, and she won an award. She was awarded the Assistant Principal of the Year in 2021. And now she works in the tech space as a project coordinator. Guys, welcome IFBB Pro Fitness, Amber Steffen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that intro.
Yeah, go Amber.
and guys, nobody better to join me, my co-host this evening. I'm going to start with Vince Crawford. He is an IFBB Pro Olympia judge, and he is the chairman of Georgia, the NPC Georgia State Chairman.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you. And no other than 8 times Ms. Olympia Fitness, Adela Garcia.
Thank you. Yay!
Yes.
There's 16. How many Olympias are here? Olympia
That's
titles?
right. That's
16.
Right. 16. I know.
Thank you for having me.
Adela and I, we stay connected, don't we, Adela?
Oh, yeah, we do. We do.
We have a lot more in common than just 8 Ms. Olympias.
Yes.
And from my understanding, we love cats. Amber, we had a conversation about cats.
Mm-hmm.
What about
don't be surprised if you see the ones walking around here because they love to do that. Like to make a visit. They're actually sitting right by me right now. So.
Okay. Wow.
Mine are talking downstairs. I can hear them just.
You can? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's take a quick look at your recent performance at my show, the Atlanta Pro. Let's take a quick look. Nice. Great ending.
Good
Beautiful.
Great performance.
Yeah. So guys, what makes this so amazing to the fans out there? First of all, I have 2 experts. Vince, you actually judged Amber in Atlanta, and Adela, you're 8 times Ms. Olympia Fitness. You know the moves, you know everything, you know what you're looking at. And also, Amber, you competed in Adela's competition this year, and you competed in my competition. So we all have something in common.
Yes.
So Amber, tell us about the routine, what we just saw.
Yeah. So from that routine, I actually performed something very different at Adela's show that was the beginning of June. Did a different style routine. The beauty of fitness is that you can do, you can take what is artistically maybe something more dramatic and flair, and then go into the next show and say, hey, I want to change it up and do something kind of poppy and fun and upbeat. And so I did that for a show for Body V1 in Montgomery. It was received really well. And so then I went on to your show and did that routine. And oh, how fun, you can see in the comments.
Yes.
Downstairs.
Your biggest fan. That's funny.
But yes, it was one that I had kind of in the back pocket of ideas since last year that Derek and I had actually worked on. And so in prompting that, my husband, Derek, and I create the choreography of these routines together. And so I'm someone that can see everything in my head, and I will come downstairs and go, you know, when you hit A count 4 and with these words at this section, and he's like, yeah, I haven't seen the routine yet. And I was like, okay, sorry, it's been in my head for like a month, you know. But
and here's your hubby.
Yep. And that was, so we cheered in
that's
college
awesome.
together at Stephen F. Austin State University. And I can no longer do that hold. We've tried a few times, and
you no longer can do that hold.
No, there's a slight kersplat and not in his favor. But yes, we actually met at cheerleading tryouts at SFA, and we were, you know, trying out together. And then afterwards I say, you know, looking forward to meeting you, teammate. And then literally the moment we introduced each other, we were together. It was from then on. We moved in after 6 months. We have been married coming up on 12 years in September. Wow. And so, it's been a great partnership. It's something that we do together, and that's the joy as well. So with what you talked about with the routine and the choreography, it really goes back to I love, and what brought me to the craft of fitness is that ability to display what I enjoy. And so choreography is something that I've always enjoyed doing, back from growing up. And at 3 years old, I was doing gymnastics. I was doing splits in the living room, flips off the couch. My mom said, we've got to get you in a gym. Shout out to my mom that is watching right now as well. She was super excited about this today. But, you know, she put me in the gym and then straight into dance at the same time, because the marriage of the dance and then gymnastics, all of it has just such a cohesive connection that then creates like an acrobatic routine. Mm-hmm. And so we started that together. Went into, I did all other sports, golf, even at 5 years old, was doing junior PGA tournaments with the family, like all the different things, right? And that kind of honed in on just like becoming a well-rounded athlete. I even dove in high school. I was state champion in high school for diving. I thought I was going to do that in college, had shoulder surgery, decided to change my mind, and found out you can get a scholarship for cheerleading. And so then I went and tried out for cheerleading, and I was like, you know, if I'm going to do cheerleading, I want to try out at the best place I know of. And I had heard of SFA, and the best program in the world at the time. And so, or at least in the US at the time, and for NCA. So tried out there, made their team, and you know, kind of the rest was history. Three-time national champion there, and met Derek, and and then through the years, actually, you just pulled up. I'm like dead center in it. That was when I coached at Caroli's gymnastics camps. So his summer gymnastics camps, I actually did 2 summers there as a counselor and coach. And then I was 13 years as a camper there as well. I got to go as early as 6 years old. Went at 5 years old to drop off my sister. She's 6 years older than me, and picked up a Bella Bear and basically cried my way out. And and that was also cheering at SFA. I was the top girl diving headfirst to believing they would catch me.
That's hard.
And then they flipped me around after that, and I landed in like a plank on the other 2 hands. So it was a lot of trust. So I literally would go up, if you saw me from the side, I'd go up, close my eyes, and then just like hope for the best. And you always have that full trust, but it was just like, I don't want to see it coming. But it was my favorite pyramid we did. That year actually was, just side tidbit. Sorry if this is long-winded answer, but that year was significant because we actually went to nationals. Our team was doing prelims. Our pyramid fell. Our stunts fell. It was a mess. And you have to be a certain number, you know, to go into finals. Well, we found out that we didn't make finals, and I didn't even know. It was my first year going in, and so my family's there. They're like, "What? You aren't going to finals?" And I said, "No, but if we go to Challenge Cup and win, we'll go to finals." So that night, we did prelims that morning. We were like, "Okay, we're going to finals." We found out results. Said, "Nope, you're not going to finals. You have to go to Challenge Cup." So it's dark outside. We're practicing on the beach, like in the grass, in Daytona Beach at the bandshell area, getting ready to go to Challenge Cup. And our team got together and said, we've got to make this hit. And if it hits and we win Challenge Cup, we go on to finals. And we did. It was like the miracle year. And so we did. We went from 9th to 1st, and it was literally in our cheer because the previous year that had happened. And so, so we literally go to Challenge Cup, win Challenge Cup, went into finals and won. And we won nationals that year. So it was just it was taking, you know, all the barriers and just going like, nope, we got this. Nope, we got this. And just like, it was the coolest win ever. If you watch the Netflix show Cheer.
Oh yeah.
You run into the water afterwards and you're cheering with your team, and like, just to hear your name get called out. It literally, I'm getting the little, like the feels right now. When I won at your show last year, as my first win, I felt Daytona all over again. It was the like, you hear your name get called and you're just like, oh, like the waterworks, you know, you're just like this, it was my chance. It was my time. And so it was just such a cool, like, I was hoping, like after college cheer, you always hope that experience comes back again. You're like craving that feeling. Just like they talked about on that show for cheer. It was like those opportunities you don't feel again.
Yes.
And so you seek them out. And so then, you know, I had competed as a professional. Now I'm going on 10 years as a professional in fitness. And so I came in and you know, was making my way through. I had been top 10 when I came out and knew like, you have to earn your way through, right? I was there in the years of Rael Graver and you know, I was there with Alana Harris and Bethany Wagner and Oksana and Whitney. And so I showed up to those shows and I went, I'm just super excited to be here. Like, you know,
because you turned pro in 2015. You turned pro in 2015 at the NPC Junior Nationals. And I believe we met, you competed at the Arizona Pro. And I just remember that you said, you know, I'm an assistant principal. So. Yes. Yeah. We actually, our very first one, I think I found it in the photos, Chicago. We met there. And I had done like a Phantom of the Opera routine. I remember just being like, I'm so excited to meet Lenda. And so, we met there. And then, I know you and I met again at the. That's not the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was such a fun routine. I had done Dirty Dancing as my first routine before that, and then Top Gun. So it was Top Gun, Dirty Dancing, Phantom. And then I went to do kind of some different mixes of just like some fun pop music that I had after that. But that was a really fun one to create, and received well in Chicago. I got 4th that year in 2017. And then that's when I actually went back to school. And so I decided I was a teacher. So I went to SFA, finished my undergrad in education, became a 5th grade math and science teacher, then went on to 6 years as a middle school English teacher. I piloted.
Oh my God, you did middle school?
Middle school, 8th grade.
I know.
8th grade. Yeah. And I would do shows and show them push-ups, and I'd do backflips in class. And the boys would be like, how much can you bench? And I would tell them, they're like, okay. So it was really fun.
Wow.
You know, it was one that like, I didn't really have the behavioral concerns because, you know, we were on that mutual respect. Right. And so it was neat. And then I was the head cheerleading coach. I had 3 different squads of 75 girls, all varying levels of abilities. And we roll out the floors, and I would teach them just like we did in college cheer. I was like, this is how you respect your floor, your space. This is how you conduct yourself as a cheerleader. Rewrote the district-wide handbook for our team to show like you represent yourself well, and then the girls literally were taking and feeding off of each other. the team that started with some not even knowing what the word cheerleading meant. And just because we were no tryouts, it was literally everyone. I equal ability to everybody. I said,
wow.
I don't have an A, B, and C squad. It is literally everyone is going to be just split up and we're going to create a great squad. And by the end of the year, every single girl was starting to become on the same level or enhancing their own self. Yeah. And captains became leaders. People that were informal leaders were taking on roles, and just watching that growth. It was not your stereotypical middle school cheer. Yeah, okay. It was, and I didn't tolerate it. I was just like, nope. You know, this is something that we don't do.
I just had this conversation with Vince. And Vince, we talked a lot about the fitness division, and he explained to me, what did you say, Vince? That you find the cheerleaders, and you have the dancers, and you have the gymnasts.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, when I first started judging, after a while, I began to see different themes. I guess it's the lawyer in me, right? So it's like, okay, what's the theme here? What's the background of this person? Because I would see more of one move than another. And then finally I said, okay, there are these three categories for me, which are you got the dancer, you got the gymnast, and the cheerleader. And to me, the dancers have the best transitions. They just like flow really, really well. But what I noticed, they don't do a lot of the high movements. So I see it as you have the high movements, which are your jumps and your kicks. You have the medium movements, which are your flips. And then you have your strength movements, which are the low. So it's like, how do you transition from the high to the low and back from the low to the high? And dancers tend to stay between the middle and the low range. They don't do a lot of, high kicks and all that kind of stuff. They just, so when looking at it, sometimes I'm like, okay, they're doing a lot more of the cheerleader moves, the bouncing and the popping up and down and the high kicks. Their transitions don't tend to be as good. The routine tends to be choppy, especially for cheerleaders, because you think about it, when cheerleaders do a move and they're still, and then they go to the next move. They don't do transitions. And so, but the dancers are really good. And I noticed that the dancers are good at strength and good at transitions, but not with a lot of the high moves. And then the gymnasts are just incredible and able to, do the flips and the one hand stands. But again, it's that those transitions just don't tend to get in there as well. And so you notice, and what I see from it is that if one routine is heavy on one than the other, then that's what they're comfortable with. But with your background, Amber, the amazing thing is you're all three. And so that's
what I was like. Just listening to her, I'm like, she's all three. And I can see that
you can tell in her routine, she's all three, because she can, twirl around and come down on her hands. So her transitions are great, and your routines are, you go from your high to your medium to your low, and then you know how to come back from your low to your medium to your high. And so your routines are incredible. But that's just my observation. I'm not saying
because she has that standard. What I see too is the cheerleader face. Cheerleaders are like, rah. And then I look at gymnasts. Sometimes gymnasts are like so serious.
Yeah, they don't
mechanical. So what do you think, Adela?
They just normally like for the gymnast. That's one of the things that they kind of. They do a move, then they stop, and then another move, and they stop, because that's how they perform whenever they do their performance. Yeah, that's Amber and I at my show. I think that was 2016, right?
When you get the guest posing, yes.
Yeah, she guest posed at my show, and the craziest thing is that she guest posed at my show that year, and then she decided to take a break from competing. And then when I decided to have fitness, she came back right away to compete on my show. So it's kind of excited. And I mean, it's nice to see, because I've seen Amber grow from, when she started, small little girl, but very nice routine. And she knows I'm very I'm kind of strong on her because I know her. I will like, girl, I want to see you doing this. You need to add this to your routine. So the good thing about it is like she doesn't. Sometimes I get scared that she's gonna get offended, but she doesn't. She's like, no, I'm gonna listen to what you have to tell me, and I'm gonna work on it. So I respect that, and I have seen her routine, and I just feel like I tell her, I said, just keep grinding, girl, because you're there, and your name is right there, so people are not gonna forget you. So yeah, I think it's just awesome. Her routines are great. I mean, there's certain things that we talk about it. Like I would like to see a little bit more of. That's all. I said those one arm push up. Let's do them a little bit stronger, so nobody has to say anything. They're just little things that she's working on it, and she can be undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's been so neat to see, and that's the beauty of fitness, right? The marriage, like you talked about, of all three. So I can have that dancer, that gymnast, that cheerleader, and do the blending. And then that's where really when Derek and I, like, I'll craft a routine and then I'll go, I feel like I have something missing here. What can we do? How can we make it flow? And so then it's like you create it and then you start picking it apart. And from the having the perspective of being the cheerleader, but then also stepping back and also being the middle school cheer coach. And I choreographed their performances. And then I was asked to do camps for other schools. And then Derek actually was an NCA instructor for 10 years. And he helped lead like camps and different things like that too. So, and then he also was at Lindenwood. He was one of their cheerleading coaches as well at Lindenwood College. And so he knows exactly what you need to have prepared for a nationals routine. And so it's just like, we understand that you have your standard, right? So you have for fitness, it's the 3 categories of the endurance, flexibility, and strength. And then you have your 4 mandatories of the high kick, the split, the straddle hold, and oh my gosh.
What is it? The straddle hold, the kick, the high kicks,
Yes.
the push up.
The push up. Thank you.
Push ups.
What's the comedy is it used to be a lot more where
Yeah.
it was like all 3
Used to have
split.
6 mandatories.
Yeah. And so when I became a junior Nats, it was all 3 splits. It was the L hold, the straddle hold. It was on top of I think it was the jump, it had to be a leap at one point.
No, it was the 1 arm push up. We had to do a 1 arm push up. We had to do 4 high kicks. We have to do side split, middle split, a straddle hold, and then the pike hold. So we have all
that was my very first show.
Oh wow! Look at you, how cute.
Yeah, I was the only one in fitness. So I showed up, checked in. I said, I'm here for fitness. I was all excited. And they were like, congrats. And I said, what do you mean? They said, you won. And I was like, I haven't done anything. So it was super fun. And I mean, even they were just like, you look great. Thanks for showing up in shape and go on to, to nationals. And so then that was a Top Gun routine. And I'm wearing my cheer shoes from college. And it was super fun. I wore shades. I wore a bomber jacket and loved it. Then made it a whole new style for junior Nats of Top Gun as well. And there were 3 in my height class for fitness class A, and I won that. So it was a quick progression. So I knew when I stepped in, literally it was saying, congrats. And then the very next day, Derek going, all right, welcome. You are a little fish in the big pond again. And I was like, yes, I am. And so
what would you say the biggest, the most challenging thing coming from like gymnastics and being a part of this industry, like that transition between the two? Because I know for me that I came from cheerleading and dance. And then, of course, learning the diet and trying to understand the diet, because the diet that we know back from cheerleading is just like losing weight. It's not about looking in the mirror and maintaining muscle, losing body fat. But I think the most challenging as far as like presentation, trying to understand how am I to be stiff, like flex hard, and then transition into something because I had that dancer mentality. So the
Mhm.
stand and flex, how do I flex to music that's still going and somehow transition into something, flex dance? What your feelings, ladies, on that?
Well, for myself, like I have no background, so I got myself into fitness because I used to see the Fitness American pageant girl, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to get attention. I want to be on stage. So
Mm-hmm,
I have
mm-hmm,
no background. I put a routine together and I started competing, and it took me a little bit of time to get my pro card, but when I did, I hire a choreographer, and I took the time. I learned, and then from there it's like you have to be open to have somebody help you, and that's one of my favorite routine. That was actually in 2009 when I came back from a ACL injury.
mm-hmm,
So it's one of the routines that every time I see it, it gives me goosebumps. But it's like, you have to be open to learn, and you have to take constructive criticism or any kind of criticism and take it and work on it, because that's the only way that you're gonna be successful in the sport. And fitness is one of the hardest division. And
Oh
you know,
yes.
it, it's just so sad because we don't see that many people competing in fitness with in the amateur level. You don't get that many girls in the show, so it's like, what are we going to do? But beside we keep getting girls that want to compete in fitness. And
mm-hmm,
I was talking to Amber the other day, and it's like, I feel like there have to be something that needs to be done in order for to help us, especially us promoters that are putting fitness contests in
mm-hmm.
our show. It's like we need a little bit more help with the fitness division, because it's just like we don't want to not have it, but at the same time it's like, Linda, you're a promoter, so, and you
Yes.
have all the divisions, so I'm pretty sure you know the
Yes, because
feeling.
I know what it feels like. Because bodybuilding for women, the numbers started to just decrease, And so when I put on a show, I want to make sure that I support fitness and support women's bodybuilding, of course. Um, and so it is challenging.
Yeah,
But for,
I even as one of the chairmen and getting and the promoters to put on their shows, everybody has fitness, and when we show up and somebody say, oh, we got a fitness competitor, huh, we got a fitness competitor.
Right.
yeah, I get
Everybody gets
excited.
excited that we have a fitness competitor. But I'm just wondering, Adela, what do you think
Mm.
caused this transition where we have, is it that it's far more demanding
Yes.
and requires a whole lot more, that we see the decline in the numbers?
Well, I feel like it's just once started adding different division, because then it was fitness, then figure, then it was bikini, then it was women's physique or men's physique, and then now wellness. So everybody just wants to go with what is hot at that moment. And I feel there's a lot of girls that they have dancing background, they had
Mhm.
gymnastics, and they're cheerleaders, but they just don't want to do it. And I mean, I train a few girls, and I'm like, you have a dance background. Why don't you let me train you for fitness? They're like, oh no, I just like bikinis so much. And it's just
Ah.
so, yeah. And
Mhm.
they just don't want to. And a lot of the times people started talking, well, what about if we drop this round? And at one point they didn't have the physique rounds in the amateur level. So you have
Mm.
girls turning pro just doing a routine. Then when they become pro, then they realize, well, I have to get in shape in order to compete as in pro level, because they in the amateur they didn't have the two piece. So then they actually added again. And we used to have 4 rounds. We used to have the 45 seconds, the one piece, the two piece, and the 2 minutes routine. So then they
Mhm.
drop the one piece. So then we had the 45 second, the 2 minutes, and the two piece. And I felt then it was a little bit better for everyone,
Yeah.
because you got 50% physique and you got 50% routine. So now it's like they have 4 mandatories, but honestly, like, I don't think a lot of judges when judging fitness know what the mandatories are and how are they being executed, because they only told you just a push-up of any kind. But if you do a push-up, regular one, that's easy. If you do a
Mhm.
one arm, that's a little bit challenging. If you do a one arm, one leg, then that's a little bit more challenging. And then when you start doing plyo push-ups, so it's like I just feel like they need to be a little bit more into fitness than it is into all the other division as well, in order for them to see the division grow. Because once I
Mhm.
got fit, once the people saw fitness at my show, they're like, we didn't even know what there was another
Mhm.
division, and they loved it. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
they're like the main, like, we got, it's just, my show this year was amazing. The stage that I had, and it was, people were just like, what is this? We love it. And I just
Mhm.
feel like they just need to push the division a little bit more and give them a little bit more attention. So,
Mhm.
and I feel like we still can have more girls come and compete, but not just thinking that cheerleaders, gymnasts, they don't want to do that. Like, they just,
Mhm.
they want to eat.
So are they uncomfortable with the physique round, or what they look at as because right now the routine is performance is 2/3%, right? Two
Yes.
thirds.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that changed because you said it at one time it was 50/50.
Well, yeah, whenever we had the two piece, so we had the two piece, and then we had the 45-second routine, and then the 2 minutes routine. So we used to perform a 45-second routine that it was 45-second, one piece of music, and you got to complete the six mandatory, and you got to have transitions in between. So it was pretty cool, because you get to do that 45-second, then you get to warm up, and then at a night show you do the 2 minute routine. So it was a little bit better for the judges because they were able to see the mandatories, in the 45-second, and then for the 2 minutes routine, it was like, okay, well, let's see what she brings. You have to incorporate those moves, but it's not as, like, they're not going to be judged like they were at the 45-second routine. So the girls have a little bit more freedom whenever it comes to that 2 minutes routine.
Mhm.
Um,
So it
so
was the same concept as the for a bodybuilder that Linda that get you remember you used to get the chance to come and do your 60 seconds.
yeah,
Right.
So it was almost equivalent of that. You got to do your 60 seconds and then you got to do your routine at night. So it was almost the equivalent of that. But I do agree because I remember those days. But the thing about it was the 45 seconds, you actually can focus
yeah,
on them doing all of the moves because it's
yes.
just like the 60 seconds with the guy or the lady in bodybuilding, you see them do all the posing. That's all it's meant to do, is
Mhm.
to see the actual posing.
Well, I
So
like that. I like that analogy from Vince about that. It's just, and I feel like they need to, there's going to have to something be done, excuse me, in order for
Mhm.
them to be able to understand fitness a little bit better and not just leave the girls. It's like fitness doesn't get any attention. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to, and we were talking to Linda, like, we at least, we will continue to promote fitness as long as we can,
Mhm.
but we just feel like there have to be something done in order for this girl to continue to get excited and motivated and willing to continue.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I like Vincent analogy about that the 60-second, the 45-second, or something like that. It
Mhm.
didn't take that long either to judge,
Mhm.
because it was
Mhm.
pretty quick.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Amber, your feelings on you know, you this is you're going into your fourth show. So and I believe your record thus far, you have two second places and one third, right? So you were just a couple of points from qualifying for that Olympia stage. Are you making changes in regards, because your conditioning is on point, like, and I have a picture of how you've made those changes, but what are you planning on doing in regards to your routine going into, and then share with us, if you would like, on what that show is and what your plans are.
Yeah, I Vince and Adela, I appreciate you kind of sharing the history as well, because I do even back into when I started professionally, And then from 2016 to 17, and then taking the break to become an assistant principal and go through my master's program, and then returning when Adela, had her show in Austin. So in seeing that, what you talked about with the 45-second, with the 2-minute, looking at mandatory, in 2016-17, there was the wide range of the strength, flexibility, endurance, and you could see it in every girl's routine. You could see the mix of styles throughout everyone. You could see all of the mandatories that were done in creative sequences that no one actually looked very similar at all. So it really brought a fitness that was just go in and showcase your craft. In returning, it's felt a shift in more strength heavy, which is exciting. Exciting to see those skills take place. It's really pushed all of us to try and do different things and really watch and analyze what each one is doing. But it's, it changed up some of that, where you have the dancer. Yeah, you have the dancer that maybe feels, I don't have this style and I don't have these strength moves, so maybe I'm not ready yet. And so it's kind of like helping our division see a holistic approach to fitness, where you have a marriage of all three, where you can come in with your style that might be, I'm someone that I love to do my research and watch and see the girls' routines. So I would go back and watch, years of Oksana. I would go watch Rael. I would watch Fiona. Miriam Capes was beautiful. Her style. There was one she had where she had like this waiter that she had created this contraption for stage, and she literally ends the Olympia at the top of this thing. And like, we're watching it like it's the circus, and I mean, Adela, you've even done some of yours that really drift down on, your like showcasing with the silks. And so and I know Oksana's brought, the pole out for then Pole Fitness started. And so it's just like allowing so much of that artistic freedom, I felt like really brought fitness to life. And you had so many girls coming out to shows. I think it's just kind of had it, everything has ebb and flows as well. But in return, it has been where it's kind of been that shift back and forth of going, okay, well, maybe I need to add more strength. Well, then different things are sacrificed when you try to do maybe more strength on something that, I might have an art and love for adding double turns and pirouettes and things like that. But I feel like I need to be adding in this strength or this tumbling pass to play into what might be, desired. And so that's kind of where I've seen a little bit of the shift. But it's also staying true to you. And so at the end of the day, I go, what I'm putting on stage is what is true to me and what I love and feel passion for in fitness. And the reason I don't ever want to leave this division. It's the reason that, I could go compete in any other division, and but I don't want to. I love what fitness routines allow for, and the women that I've met in it, and every single one of them going like, we're cheering for each other backstage because that they have put their heart and soul on that, and that is what they feel passionate about. And if you love this routine, this movie, and you want to put a whole style routine to it because that's what you feel passionate about, then all power to you. And I love what you've done, and that's your creative style.
So how did you feel at my show in Atlanta, knowing that you're coming in as the reigning champion, and your routine was you did the last performance. So did you look at Shelly or look at the girls prior? Do you watch their routines at all? Because in gymnastics, it's always amazing to me how you guys are in this big open space, all of these people, you're watching people do their tumbling. So that's something you're used to? Because I hear some of the athletes say, oh, I don't watch.
Yeah.
So tell us about your feelings in Atlanta and going into.
Yeah. Who, Linda, you made it a fun weekend, especially when I was watching the day before and seeing the previous winners were the promo videos. And I'm sitting in the audience and I look at Derek and I kind of hit him and I said, that's the second winner that's been in a video. I was like, I wonder if I'm in a video tomorrow. And then when I saw myself, I was like literally on side going like, that's me. Like,
yes.
And so that was super, like,
thank you.
Super
Thanks
cool.
for noticing that. That's awesome.
That was super cool. It also put another layer of like, Amber, you better go be better than that video right now. So I was like, step it up. Okay. But it was awesome. I love what I do love about that. Just side note, Linda, is you put in front of the audience an educational piece. Like, yeah, I was excited it was me, but like, it literally was, okay, fitness, this is what you should see. You should see these 3 categories. You should see these 4 mandatories. Here's what it's looking like right now. Here's a physique. Here's a routine. And so like seeing that, and I think that would be so helpful moving into next shows. Doesn't have to be me, but like, you know, into next shows of just, this is what you're looking for, because it educates the audience too.
Well, and especially those people that are for the first time witnessing anything in bodybuilding, first time at a show. And I usually about before we start the evening show, I usually get up and just thank them all for coming out on behalf of the NPC. And then all the newbies, I ask how many newbies we have in the audience, and they raise their hand, and I ask everybody cheer them on. But I love that about the, you know, given this category, and this is what the judges are looking for, because people often ask the judges, what were you guys looking for? Because I think this person should have done.
Absolutely.
So I think
I will take notes on that. I'm going to take notes on that, Linda. So I do that for next year.
Yeah, and we think that there probably a lot of people will take on that. Either they would have to have the MC explain it to the audience, which normally that's what we want, but it doesn't always happen that way. So it was a
great way to just see like, oh, okay, so before they step on stage, this is what we are looking for. And in all the categories too, because it is that, like all of you were mentioning, of why didn't you pick this person, or why didn't this go this way? And it gives the audience, it gives just even a reminder to everyone, I mean, even about to judge, just being like, okay, reset. Like, it's that just like, I've turned my page, I'm here, got it, you know? And so it just like all around, it seemed like a really neat way to kick off the next division. And then I think going back to your, I was a Williams before I became a Steffen. So I've moved up slightly in the alphabet, but
right. Because W's are last.
Yeah.
Now you're like not last, right?
Yeah. Last year I was like third to last a few times. Darian was out there as a T, and I was like, and Eureka, and I was like, okay, I'm not last. And then all season so far I've been last, and I was like, okay. So yes, going last. I do not watch routines. I will watch, I will hear some of the music. I'm usually blasting my music in my ears, and I'm just kind of literally visually doing it. But I'm also that person that I'm not going to watch you, but I'm going to be screaming at the same time. So I'm literally going to be yelling your name from the side and cheering you on, but I'm not going to be watching yet. And then afterwards, I will go back and watch all the videos, and and I even tell people after I get off stage, I go, I'm so sorry, I didn't watch any of it, but you look like you're happy and I'm thrilled for you. And they're like, girl, I wouldn't expect you to. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Wow.
So it's just kind of setting that like tone and just making sure that you are in your element for your performance. And
well, I had a question though, for you and Adela, because one of the things, and this is going back to the numbers and getting those numbers back up. And Amber, from a perspective as a pro, we have a lot of pros that are trainers and put people in NPC shows. And so it's sort of like the promoters as well as the chairman, and we're putting on these shows, we rely on that portion of the industry to recruit those athletes and to get them into shows. So I'm just interested to know, is like, you know, Amber, do you have right now within the industry, you know, ladies coming up to you and saying, hey, you know, I want to try fitness? And Adela, do you think that that's part of the issue, that there may be not enough trainers out there that are actually pushing ladies towards doing
Yeah, I think there's a lot of new coaches because I remember I took a break after I retire, and then meeting a break from like everything. And then when I came back and started looking at social media, I'm like, whoa, I feel like I just everything is so different now. But
Mhm,
there's a lot of new coaches, and I just feel like fitness is not pushed enough, as well as the other division. That's what I see the most.
mhm,
And I just think, like I said, like there's everybody wants to be in with what is in at this moment, and it's just wellness. Everybody wants to do wellness, and um, so I just don't know what else we can do to really push the division. I have people that come up to me and say, I want to do fitness, but the problem is that they don't know what fitness is all about. Because
yeah,
I actually had that happen a few times. Whenever I started explaining that to them, they're like, oh, I thought of fitness was just like get ready for a contest. And I said, no, fitness, you had to perform. You actually had to do. And then the other confusion that I see too, when I came back from my mental break thing, people were like saying, the girls that compete in bikini, they will say, oh, I have to do my routine. And I said, what routine? I mean, you mean you got to pose? But they call it, oh, it's my routine. I have to perform my routine, but it's not a routine. That's just a posing that you're doing. So
mhm,
I just feel like it's just need to work from, IFBB Pro League. We need to push fitness a little bit more,
mhm,
um get more sponsor for the fitness division, and then you'll see more people kind of like, okay, well, that division is hot too, so let's try to who can help me out, because coaches, I'm always available. I mean, Amber knows that I get one girl like once a year. I get her ready, she get her pro card, and then that's it. It's not like you're getting tons of girls like back in the days. we
right,
were we were training a lot of girls for fitness, and now it's like they don't. I just it's a
mhm.
new it's different. People don't want to work as hard, and for fitness, you got to do
Mhm.
a lot. Like
You gotta do a lot.
I give Amber a lot of credit because listening to everything, like I didn't know you were a principal, like or
Right.
all that stuff. Yeah, like we just
It's
known each other, but
amazing.
I honestly didn't know what Amber did, and then I know that she goes to this golfing shop next to where I work,
Yeah.
at 45, and we did it. It's like it's in the same building,
Shopping center. Yeah.
Mhm,
and I didn't even know she goes there, and she goes practice and take some classes too. So I mean, it's just I fitness competitors is a different mentality.
mhm, mhm.
It's like the same thing. I could never do a bodybuilding diet. Never.
Uh-huh.
No way. I don't care. Like I like to eat, and I think that's why I love fitness so much, because I was able to get away with a lot of cheating cheat meals,
Mhm,
and then I will go practice my routine, and I get in shape.
mhm.
So it's just like, I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. Like
Yes, yes.
like fitness is like you gotta bring that physique, you gotta bring that routine. It's just
Mhm.
everything. It's an
Yeah,
overall package. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
and
So what do you think, Vince, as far as, I mean, you judged Atlanta and you have to do this all the time with feedback. I don't know. That's why I
yeah.
could not be a judge.
Well,
So,
yeah, I do that for a living, so it's it comes in natural. So, but here's the thing. I think with that particular round where we're looking at the physique, you're almost looking towards a figure physique because
that's correct. Yes.
yeah, you are, and so well, it is a bodybuilding show. I tell people that, so we have to have some degree of talking about muscle roundness, muscle tone, muscle quality. The amber conditioning is incredible, but those
mhm,
fuller
mhm,
muscles, rounder muscle, getting some more on her upper body. When
mhm,
she's standing
mhm,
next to Shelly, that's you can see that difference. And so that's where I think she just needs the work is bringing up that the muscle and bringing up putting on way more thickness up top.
Yeah.
Could assist. Yeah, look, I mean, look where you come
Here's a
from.
picture of Amber and what she's accomplished, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that probably when you're putting on that additional size and you're putting on that additional weight, then part of the thing occurs is now the routine is not as easy because you put on a little more size. So you're carrying a little more, you got to move a little bit more. And so, but that's what it really is. Your conditioning is incredible.
Yeah.
But I think also Amber is being like her physique is she's small and she knows, like we talk about it, she's a little bit thicker on the waist, but for her, like it's just one of those things. Maybe like, I think her shoulders are, I mean, I when I see her, I said your shoulders are huge, like, and that's all with all the fitness girls.
Because
every time
you can see where she's improved on her shoulder development.
Yes.
And of course, as we get leaner in the second picture here, our shoulders are really full and they don't look in the third, not as full in the last one. But that's when you diet hard, like you're going to lose weight. I would lose my chest and my biceps. First thing to go, to get my legs separated. So
it's the upper body goes first. But I mean, if physique wise, it's like she knows what Shelly, she just structure wise, she just had that, V taper.
Yeah.
And like Amber and I were talking. I said, you just work, you can just working with what you have, and I think she's done an amazing job. The one thing I mentioned to her is like, hey, let's sit down and like kind of work on your posing, because there's way that you can. I mean, when I competed, I had to do different things to kind of make my waist look a little bit smaller in order for me to kind of compete with those girls that, like Bethany, she used to have such a tiny little waist. But sometimes, like I was talking to her and I said, sometimes we have the tendency to overpose, because we get next to, like when she's next to Shelly, she probably want to go try to open too much. And then, is that right? That was what I was doing like that.
But that's natural. That's natural across anything.
Everyone.
You're not blind to who's standing next to you. So you're like, oh, wait a minute. I need to do more.
What's been interesting, so like kind of in the what you've shared, Lenda, is so with that size from that first picture in the green suit, I was 100 pounds on stage, and I've gained it to 112 now is what I step on stage. So in 10 years, I've gained 10% of my body weight in like muscle. And so it's been a slow progression, a slow build. And then even within the last time I stepped on stage in 2017, I was 112 on stage, but then I stepped back after 4 years of taking time off to have professional growth, become an assistant principal, went through COVID. I prioritized a campus of 900 students and 100, staff members, and was the school mascot and all the things. And I said, that is my priority right now. Went into powerlifting and said, I'm going to build up that physique and take that feedback. Right. And then because I was on stage still at that 112, but it was a completely different look. Like that last picture you showed of the Phoenix one, I was asked to come in, a little bit softer, not as conditioned, and it doesn't have the same appeal. Yeah. And so then I took that time to build my body, to build that muscle, did powerlifting competitions. I mean, I can squat 300. I hold the record. I tied for the record for bench at 187, like deadlifted 264. Like I'm definitely like pound for pound, pretty solid.
So I think one of the questions I'd love to ask is I hear from a lot of the fitness competitors, because in that physique round, they will not be conditioned. And some would share that is challenging because of the performance and what you guys athletically have to do, that it's not necessarily the most healthy thing, but you have consistently been conditioned. Like, what's your feeling on that? I mean, sometimes, of course, I can look at an athlete, and we can tell when, okay, that's just, she's using an complete excuse, kind of.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So elaborate, please.
Yeah, so I take that back to growing up, the training. It was I did gymnastics after school for 4 hours where I literally would have a Lunchable and I would go do gymnastics and bounce off the walls and then have a foot long chili dog heading home. Like it was just kind of like what we did. I would do college. Yeah, that was me at Bella Crowley's camps, and he nicknamed me Chipmunk. So I had the little cheeks and everything. And he was great to get to go to his camps and learn from literally coaches from around the world. At his camps, I mean, we would have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and go to 110-degree gym in the middle of New Waverly, Texas, at his ranch, and you just had a blast. You didn't think about it. It was just you were here to train and work. And so even taking that into college years, and for college cheer, we would have literally a 14-hour bus ride to Daytona Beach. You would sleep on a bus, get out, stretch out, and it was full out. It was not, hey, sit down, make sure you've got your rice cakes and peanut butter and you've got your chicken weighed out and you're ready to be physically fit. It was just ready to roll. We're going to go. I took it into bodybuilding. So right away it was working a professional career. So I literally get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym, I do my cardio. I'd be ready, go to work. I'd work all day for, being a teacher, being a coach, go to football games, sometimes till 9 o'clock at night. And then I would go train and then come home and do my cardio and everything, or I would, stay. And then you planned out everything. And it was even where I do all of that. And then I would go to cheer gyms for their open gym at like 9 o'clock at night.
So do you think that discipline that you have, because that's so clear. I just watched the whole thing on Netflix and they talked about gymnasts and you guys having to, like keep your weight at a certain weight, et cetera, et cetera. So do you feel like that is when you like started competing in this industry, do you look at some of the athletes and you go like, you're so disciplined, like you've been gymnasts, like that's probably the highest level of discipline starting at like the age of 5 and 4. So kind of talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, it's just, you are an elite athlete and that's what you're prepared to do. And so if it means that you don't feel like you have 100% of the fuel ready to go, but because it primarily, this is not a gymnastics, a dance competition. This is bodybuilding primarily. Like, yes, it's 1/3 of our score, but I treat it as, I literally train like I am a women's bodybuilding competitor, a figure competitor. And then I do a fitness routine that is in addition. So my training style is completely like I'm ready to step on stage for women's bodybuilding, but I do a fitness routine in addition. It's
let me chime in there, Amber. And that's the difficulty of fitness. Because, and Lenda, when you get back to the ladies coming up and saying, well, I can't get that bodybuilding physique and do that routine, because there's a difference between just dieting to lose weight and a bodybuilding diet. And so, that lack of carbs and all that. And so you think about it, she's got to get a figure physique on a bodybuilding diet and have the stamina of a dancer and a gymnast. And, I did bodybuilding, as an amateur, and I know how you feel on the day. And Lenda, you know that, how you feel the morning of a show.
Oh, yeah.
Carb depleted or whatever, and your mind and your strength. So that's why I said this division is incredible, because they have a dual task at hand, which is not just to come in and have been on a diet and lose weight, but you have to come in with a figure physique and at the same time have the stamina to do a routine with the stamina of a gymnast or a dancer. And that is super difficult. That's
super difficult.
That's to be admired.
Yes, it is. It really is to be admired. So many things, like so much that you guys have to do. I'm going to say at least 4 extra things that the rest of the athletes don't two costumes and making sure that the costume fits properly. And when you're on the stage and you're in all these different positions. So tell us, Amber, what's your plan? Are you going into Tampa? And we lost 8 times Ms. Olympia there. She's trying to get back on board. But tell us what your thoughts are and where you're at going into, what's your next plan? Because you're still on that diet. You're still preparing.
Yes. Yeah. And just to kind of add one more piece of like with the fitness preparedness, it is that, like you talked about, it is that, challenge, but excitement in it. And that is the draw to the division. I think for many of us is the pushing your body to those limits and going like, I can do this, and seeing that as like an exciting piece of like the other divisions don't have that opportunity, and that we can showcase that, hey, we're here able to do the diet, able to do the routine. And then not only we prepare for it, we also come to the show and you've prepared your routine to where you get 30 minutes to warm up. Sometimes you might wait about 2 hours, and then you're going to go showcase that on stage and going, I've been ready, I've got this. And so it's that, like, that's the other layer on top of it. That's been really neat to see. So just kind of sharing that extra component. But I think, yes. So I am heading to Tampa as the next show. I'll leave out, next week. I'm excited about it. Heading into Tampa, we'll have some changes to the routine. I'm
back.
Enhancements to tumbling, enhancements to strength skills. Every time I don't like to bring the same thing. I like to bring just a little bit of a pop that is something different than you saw last time. That just shows you, I heard you, receive you, and I'm bringing more. And so
that's impressive that you guys can quickly turn some things around and add some new movements or strength moves. But that's very impressive. So Adela, I just asked Amber, what are her plans going into? She's still fighting. I know the last time we talked, you said that you've been on your diet since February or March.
February, yes.
February. Yeah. Yep.
So and that's I stay really close to stage readiness. My body naturally wants to hang out there. But it takes that whole time to drop 5-6 pounds.
I understand.
And it's always harder.
Yeah. And it's a whole different physique. If you see the 5 or 6 pounds up, it's not the same caliber of physique. And that's not something that I will personally step on stage with. And so it's that going, you're going to bring in the style of conditioning that represents you and that you feel confident in. And each time that is it. And I have loved, each and every time stepping on stage is just also wowed myself. And then going in and going, that routine is something that has stayed true to me, has stayed true to the style that I appreciate. And then just the joy of, getting to showcase it, to show what I love to do. And I feel like you can see in my personality and my style and my excitement that, like, I feel like I'm connecting with the audience, that I'm drawing you in, that you see I'm just excited to be on that stage and I wish you were up here doing it with me, and so that's kind of that's all you can ever ask for. And so each time I look to do that, and looking forward to do that in Tampa and showcase. I hadn't been back there since 2016, actually. So I'm excited to go back and do Wings of Strength Tim's show and, represent Redcon and represent, just even everyone that supported Lenda, Adela and Vince and everyone that supported me along the way. And my mom that just commented on here is her biggest.
Is it your mom?
Yes, that's why I kept that up there. That's
true mom, true mom.
Yes.
I know, she loved the Olympia this year. Oh my gosh, she was.
Well, you'll be back.
They're fun. Your mom is fun
definitely
too.
Be there. Yeah, things happen as they do. So
yes,
yep. So, guys, I guess this is We've been
Hey, I think I
talking
gotta
here for
ask
a
her. We gotta
while.
ask her one more question. Who's your favorite fitness competitor beside me? Okay, you guys have come on, just beside me. Just who else?
Oh, Adela, you just asked a hard one.
Well, that was
That's a great question. Someone
somebody
asked
asked.
that question. Yeah,
Somebody did.
they
Come on,
did.
tell us.
Yeah, so oh, it has evolved into almost like I want like a marriage of like all of these people. Like, because I literally, just like I shared with you all earlier, I am someone that loves to do the research. It it probably sounds a little cheesy, but when my first show, Chicago, okay, 2016, I show up with handwritten cards that were all I like puns. And so, and I tell like dad jokes on my Instagram, like it's real cheesy. But I literally said like, you do not know how much I appreciate you, or like just funny things like that. And I handwrote notes to each of the fitness girls of, I really liked this style routine from this year and how you perform this way. And I would watch the Arnold routines and just literally on repeat on cardio. I almost started doing people's choreography for how much I was watching it. So it was just, I have loved the style. Yes, that was the Phantom one from the guest posing performance. That was so awesome at Adela's show. I love, speaking of that, kind of the dark like theatrical, Oksana has been a huge influence of mine. And honestly,
Yes.
going to my first Olympia and her returning, I was just like, that was the dream to want to perform with her. And so it was just being on that same stage was so neat. I have loved watching Missy through the years, watching her progression and seeing that she also was a college cheerleader and seeing her literally build into her own physique and then the high caliber of athlete she is. And the fact that like her and I will message back and forth, and I just feel so excited to be able to chat with her and learn from her. And then I even Bethany Wagner, like I loved her style physique and just her shoulder shaping and how she designed routines. To Miriam Capes, like I mentioned, she had a beam out one year on the stage. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. And then Rael, just watching her, she was another one that was like 99 pounds on stage and finished out at like 130. Like, and just watching her grow into her physique and seeing the style that she's had through the years. And so, I mean, I go back to Adela. I literally 2 days ago was watching that one that Lenda, you pulled up, and I was watching you do the straddle hold where you kick out and you literally are walking in the straddle hold with it out. And then watching your one leg push up and like just seeing the merit. Like that's why I go like, I don't even have one anymore. Like it kind of started where I was like, man, I like, you see people and you go, I really love their style. And then it's like, no, I haven't pinpointed. It's been so many different girls through the years that I have just appreciated their style of routine. And then went, how can I take me? How can I take a marriage of different skills? And then how can there be a blending? And I mean, it's just been such a unique division. And that's what, just back for even college cheer, it was, you love what has been here before you, what is currently there, and what's to come. And
I
it's
like that.
honoring the past, being present in the present, and then ready to influence the future. I have a picture in the Olympia sports bra. And when I was in cheerleading, we have what's called LCLM, and it's our family kind of slogan thing. And it's only if you're LCLM, you know what it means. It's kind of that, like, you keep it, you take it to the grave. And so you don't wear those letters though, until you have made nationals and competed, just like the Olympia. I qualified for the Olympia. I was an Olympia qualifier, but I am not an Olympian until I actually competed at the Olympia. Yes. So even wearing that warm-up jacket the night before felt good, but it didn't feel good to wear that sports bra until I had competed. I was top 10. And I said, I have earned this. And so it's to the, honoring the past, being present in the present, and then ready to be there for the future.
That. Very nice.
Yeah, I do too.
Lenda, I want to give a word of encouragement to not only Amber but all the athletes, if I could.
Mhm.
I was watching a nature show, and one of the things I observed about the plant, a seed, is that a seed goes underground and it grows two ways. It moves forward and it moves downward. And it established roots, but its inclination is to move towards light, to move forward, to move upward. And at the same time, it establishes its roots, and that water is its growth. And the thing about it is, I think about bodybuilding. The thought goes into all of the athlete's mind that I want to do this, be it fitness, wellness, bodybuilding, or whatever. And that soil is the gym. You go in there, and that's where you plant your roots of discipline, your roots of, encouragement, your roots in making your goals. And then you actually are moving forward. You're moving forward towards something, which is that show. And you want to get up there and you want to do well. But along the way, there's that growth portion, the water that comes into your life, where there's either your family, there are coaches, there are all of these people that are pouring things into you to get you towards that, so that when you do come above the soil, you come up as a rich plant. And Amber, you are a very, very rich plant.
Yes.
You have a career that shows that. But I want to say to you, you're above soil, and just keep moving upward and forward. Okay.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. That's a great advice, Vince. Thank you.
It's so
Appreciate
great.
you sharing that. That means a lot.
Wow.
You gotta say hi to Ellie, Amber. She said thank you.
Ellie!
Ellie, she was messaging saying like thank you and thank you to us for doing this as well. Ellie, she is also one of IFBB Pro. She competed at my show last year, was her pro debut, and then now she came back again this year. So thank you.
I just wanted to share. I wanted to share with everyone that you are also a judicial. You're a judge as well.
That's my day job.
That was such great wisdom coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Shared. I just want to let people know that's what he does for a living. Just like we know your story, Amber, as a elementary principal and all of that. So, guys, we've been doing this for a while here. Thank you so much for joining us, Amber, and telling us your story, sharing your story with us. And of course, thank you, Adela Garcia, 8 times Miss Olympia, and Vince for joining this conversation. And we look forward to seeing you on that Olympia stage, Amber.
Yeah. Yes, girl.
I know that I will be sitting in the audience and watching you in Las Vegas. That's for sure.
Good luck. Good luck to you. Thank you guys for having me too.
All right. Thank you, Linda.
Linda, thank you so much again. I appreciate
guys.
it. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Sorry, my computer.